we can, so far we did only for the count. How many are there in Thursday? How many are in Friday? Or how many are gold? How many in United States, China, etc. Right? But what if you want some calculated value, summary statistic grouped by categorical variable? So you want the average tip by lunch and dinner, average tip by days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So then you have to take the value that you want to plot, okay, group by the category variable, use the group by function, and then the statistics that you want to apply. Okay, it can be mean, median, mode. Well, mode has to be, you have to be careful because sometimes there could be more than one mode, and so on, right? So here is average tips, okay, grouped by time, and then you plot that. Okay, so if you look at average index, okay, so you have the index there, and then you plot that. So here is an example of the major formatter. You see the F string format, and you see the y-axis. You know, you are able to add formats here. Okay. AX.y-axis set major formatter, and within single quotation mark, and this is how you will specify your format for here. So it adds a $sign, and then within the curly braces, the value of X and what is the format for X. So 2.2F. So 2F here is 2 decimal places after the decimal point. Okay. And here is the formatting for the value label. Okay. All right. Next example here, I'm going to describe a particular case that can happen. So we're going to be using the mtcars.csv that I talked about. Okay. So if you look at that file, mtcars.csv, you see that the first 13 rows have no data. Data starts from 14, and 14 has the heading or column names. And these are descriptions of what each of those columns stand for. So we have to skip rows 13 of them. Okay. And suppose we want average miles per gallon by number of carburetors. CARB is, okay, so number of carburetors. That's what CARB stands for. Okay. So now we do a group by, so now we want to plot Q-sec. Q-sec is how many seconds to quarter mile. Okay, so quarter mile time. Okay, that's what we want to plot, the average time, and we group by carb, how many carburetors. So actually I should have said average sec instead of average miles. Okay, let me change that. So let's be average sec carb, right? And then we have average sec carb. All right. Then, so here again, I have to change that to average sec. Average sec carb. All right. All right. So now, what has happened is that we have a value for 5 and a value for 7 for the carburetor, and there is nothing there. Okay. Now, if 5 and 7 are legitimate values, it just happens that there are no models with that number of carburetors. So then you can just leave it like this. But if you want to suppress, okay, this 5 and 7 are not possible. Okay, suppose if by design, I don't know whether that is true or not, but let's assume that, okay, we don't want these 0 things to come up in the chart. It's messing things up. So now the difficulty is that since the original values are numeric, okay, you can't change it to category or object, in which case it will be those values will be assumed as ordinal, and you'll always end up having the 5 and 7 appear in the bar chart. But if you want to suppress this, then you have to change the index. So the number of carbs is coming from average sec carbs index, right? Now you change the data type to string. So this will be average sec, right? Average sec carb index, and then you add as type is string. Then that 5 and 7 will disappear. Okay? Now, this is not a problem if you are grouping by a text variable to begin with. Okay? Suppose if, let's see, well, they're all numbers here. Okay. Suppose if there is a column that is that's a text column. So text column is no problem. Okay, you don't have to do this because it's already string. Otherwise, you have to change it to string.